Alright guys, welcome back to the garden. Just a quick update following the recent weather we've had here in the UK. We've kind of turned a little bit from quite nice warm weather to very windy weather, and it has taken its toll on a couple plants here. What we'll do is just have a little brief look at some of those, the wind damage, and then a couple new purchases, sort of late end of season deals that were going on here. So let's just briefly come over to one of the first ones that was heavily wind damaged, and unfortunately guys, it is the new colocasia esculenta black sapphire gecko that's really taken a hit on this one. You can see it's really just torn through those leaves. Done a number on that. Musa basjoo next to it, absolutely fine. It did think this was going to be a quite protected area. It's quite nestled in up next to the fence. You've got the hops up here, one of the yuccas there protecting it as well, and again it's just gotten absolutely battered. Take a look at the other colocasia briefly, and on this one, which I believed would be in a more open area, sort of susceptible to higher winds, really hasn't done too bad. We're still getting a bit of wind at the moment guys, coming through here, so I apologize if it's a little bit muffled at times. Right, just coming back, one of the other ones that was heavily hit, there's some of the wind there, apologies. Coming back here would be the musa basjoo. Now this is in an area that's receiving the high wind. We're still getting winds on it now, as you can see. Let's just come around, sorry the light's going on that. Just take a quick look, and you can see on the leaves here loads of damage. It's ripped through them quite a bit. Now uniquely with this plant and a lot of the big leaf tropicals, there are kind of almost, if you want to say, designed to shred the leaves as opposed to knocking the plant over, for example, in a higher wind. So once that leaf is shredded, the wind can pass through it much easier than when it's a sort of large paddle on that one. Alright, so now even though a lot of you may have suffered similar damage to what I've got here in the UK, you know, with these winds we've had over the past sort of 5-6 days, one thing to bear in mind is they're such quick growing plants that, you know, a new leaf will soon come out, replace those, and, you know, when it comes down to it, you can always end up tidying them up, chopping them off, and it should really do nothing wrong to the plant. I mean, with these, I typically will only leave the top sort of 4 leaves to 5 leaves on any plant. Again, you can see the lovely bases there as well, which I do like, that kind of proper tree look, even though it isn't an actual tree. But with that said, you know, with a lot of these kind of big leaves as well, as much as you may see kind of quite drastic damage on them, that can soon replace itself with new leaves and, you know, again, look fresh as it did before kind of the high winds. Alright guys, so what I'll do now is just briefly insert a little bit of footage of some of the high winds that I did manage to catch on film. Right, so those wind gusts just shown were probably only about 30 miles an hour or so, not even close to kind of some of the bigger ones we've had. Also, just to show you, next to the musa basjoo, which has been heavily shredded, you can see we've got the onset morelli, which, if I'm honest, has taken very minimal damage. A little bit of damage to that leaf, this leaf, and it looks like possibly the new leaf as well there. But for a big paddle leaf that's still very open, I think it did quite well considering the kind of winds that we had. What we'll do is just take a quick look at the tree fern. As you may have seen, we did a short recently of sort of came down at about 3 a.m. and the winds were blowing quite heavily on the tree fern, so take a look at that if you haven't had a chance yet. Let's just go have a quick look at the tree fern itself. As you can see that surprisingly minimal damage compared to the kind of winds that it's taken. Just panning back over here, it has made it through with minimal damage. Tiny bit of browning on the leaf there, you might be able to see that, but other than that, really done much better than I expected with the sort of winds that we're getting. I'd say somewhere around about the 50 to 60, maybe even 70 plus at times, and it's been carrying on for a few days now. I think we're kind of at the end of summer. Let's just take a quick look here. Now this one here, these shamrops, It's hard to pick up on the film, but it does have very nice white under the leaves there. Wondering if it could be a cerifera. This was not one that I planted. This was in the garden when I moved in, and kind of, I would say, one of the ones that inspired my tropical journey moving forward. Now, just a couple of the late purchases here, guys, and apologies on the mess. Did manage to get a couple of these zebra grasses. For a very good deal from B&M. Now these are sort of clump forming and can get quite large, and in that respect that is exactly what I'd like to do down here, down the jungle path, is have these really pick up. Now one new thing that hopefully will be highlighted on the channel soon, just looking at that dicksonia trunk, nice new one coming out there. Get that to go in. And the other zebra grass here. We are actually now going to be adding a greenhouse to this area of the garden, in the bar area. So you have your bar here, which is closed down for the moment. And going to be adding a greenhouse in this section here with a kind of path going along where the seating is now. Got a few ideas for this, but just something to help out with the winter and just a few of the new tropicals that we've got this year. Again, free pickup on Facebook, so you can't really go wrong there. Now, just one more I did want to show you guys is the heavenly bamboo. Now, this is again one that has been in the garden before I moved in. Lovely flowers on this. Grows really well, hardy, and with that said as well, it is one that is evergreen. And provides a nice little canopy here. I haven't trimmed it up this year, but once that is trimmed up, it does have a nice kind of tuft on it. You can see here, guys, as well, again, looking at the canopy, I am going to be trying to raise the canopy a bit higher on all the trees as they age and grow in. Something I just kind of like to do to create, you know, a nice sort of understory that you can walk around in and underplant in as well. All right, of course, thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Big garden tour coming up soon.